Let me just first open it and I'll say something about it.
You need scissors, I think.
Huh?
You need scissors to cut.
Yeah, he's cutting.
I know.
Let me cut it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you have, let's finish that.
Okay, here we go.
Yes, and you want to come.
Yay! This is the book.
Yay!
Oh,
Because tangles.
So you have, yeah, thank you. You have heard the history of our lives, and perhaps you can extrapolate to your lives as well, that it is a long journey. And at a time when the world has changed very rapidly, therefore, the spectrum that we have seen is pretty large. And some of you may not even know this because of the history we told you. We lived in a village and without electricity, blah, 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 and all that. So Indra has traveled through all this history. And one point you should note is, even though my father was fond of education and so forth, he could not overcome the social pressures at that time. He could not send his daughter to the college. So her education was only high school, which was in the village. And she traveled through her life from that state all the way through self-effort. No formal education in college or anything like that.
she had her degree education.
But she, just like my mother, she persevered and written, studied by herself, applied to college degrees from home, and traveled through that life all by herself. And then she had traveled to London and United States and so forth. Everything is a streak of my mother, which is self-effort and going through the self-discovery of things. And so she's ideally suited to speak about the experiences in this journey from that state to this state. What she did in this book is to give her perspective in a slightly different way. In a way, she created stories in her own way. And what you should, this is not intended to be a book of literature and English fiction or anything like that. It's just a simple way, in her own words, to narrate incidents that she faced, really. And what you have to look for is the sentiment behind it. How a rural life, for example, was very self-satisfying, environmentally very conservative. And she contrasts that with what is today, with all the technological development. Why are we, with all the developments, we are much less contented, and we pollute the earth and atmosphere much more than at that time. Why is that? These things are subtly there in all the stories that she expresses. Especially look at the cow story at the end, where she talks about the state of the cows today in Bombay compared to the cows she used to have in her life. Big contrast. Similarly, other contrasts about vegetables and fruits and how it's so simple in the villages in those lives and so satisfying. And yet here we struggle for that. So I hope you read the stories from that perspective and understand. Sometimes she also mixes humor in this. It's sometimes hard to understand the humor unless you know the situation. So you got to see through that. Only when you experience that, you'll see the humor that she's trying to make. It may be a simple joke, simple observation, but the subtlety you have to see from the perspective where she's talking from. I hope you will enjoy it. It's my pleasure that she wrote this, and my parents must be very satisfied with this, and I wish her all the best. Indra, over to you.
Congratulations, Indira.
Looks really nice, Indra Perima. Congratulations.
Yeah,
They've been talking to us for so many weeks and months with us about this.
thank you. This is the page I dedicated to my parents, this book. And these are the contents. I'll just briefly show. These are the contents which I narrated stories 20. So please go through and read this book. Thank you.
By now, all of you know that I always keep quiet. She does all the talking and I do only the listening. But then I thought that it's proper for me to just say a few words about my in-laws. Unfortunately, I couldn't get much time with them. My mother-in-law passed away a few months after we got married. I spent few moments with my father-in-law, but they were enduring moments. And with both of them, I have memories which are very firmly etched in my mind. And both relate to food, the thing that I love most. My mother-in-law, for the first time when I came to Anand Nagar, we sat down to dinner. And she, as Bindu has already described, had chopped potatoes into very small cubes, which she had fried and she had served. I found that my plate had potatoes which were very white in color, with hardly any chili powder on them. That just salt enough to make it very tasty. Whereas the one that was being served to my brothers-in-law had a generous amount of chili powder sprinkled on it. And I, being very fond of hot stuff, couldn't resist myself. After the first few mouthfuls, I asked my mother-in-law and pointed out to the potato curry that was being served to my brother-in-law and said, "Can I have some of that?" And she burst out laughing. She said, "I didn't know that you were fond of hot stuff." And then she admonished her sons, saying that, "Look at him. He did not keep himself from asking me something which he liked." And similarly, when I appreciated the cup of coffee that she gave me, she said, "Look at him. See, he acknowledges that whatever I have cooked and whatever I have served is so very good and that he liked it." And this is something that I'll never ever forget. Similarly, with my father-in-law, we were at Amirpet. These were during the last days almost, and he was on the bed. But whenever he used to see me, he would somehow, get up and lean against the wall or sit against the wall as a support. In one of my trips, I had walked in with my hands full of some mirchi bhaji that I had bought on the way, which I had planned to share it with everyone there. And not finding my brother-in-law around, and since my hands were full of the mirchi bhajis, I offered one to my father-in-law. His eyes lit up and he smiled broadly and consumed one of that. Suddenly I found my elder brother-in-law rushing into the room, and then tapping me on the shoulder and saying, no, 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 don't give in, because it's too spicy for him to handle at this age. But the almost boyish enthusiasm that I found on his face when he saw the Mirchi Bhaji and tasted it, matched mine. And we both, he enjoyed one and I had one along with him. It's another memory that I'll never forget. I wish I had more time with them. I wish I had listened to a lot of stories of their days in Nidumondu. He used to always tell me that he wanted me to go along, or he would take me to Nidumondu with him. I never got that opportunity, although I visited Nidumondu subsequently a couple of times. Very fond memories, which I'll never forget. Thank you for making this evening very special. I enjoyed personally every minute of whatever presentations were made. And I hope the same was the case with each one of you. Thank you for coming and thank you for sitting through this.
Thank you, Indira.
Yeah, thank you for everybody for joining us and taking your time and sharing and participating in this event. I'm very grateful to all of you, and thank you and God bless you all. And I love to meet this site of meetings at least once in a year so that all families can see face to face, even though we are in different worlds. But it will be nice to look forward to some more meetings like this. And thank you and God bless you all. I close.
Thanks, Atta. Congratulations again.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Pinny.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Bye, Pinny.
Okay, bye.